Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to discuss about Fischer-Tropsch reactions. These reactions are generally heterogeneous in nature. A large number of metallic catalysts are used to carry out such reactions. The very common examples are of the compounds of iron, cobalt, nickel, ruthenium, etc. In many of these cases, alumina is used as support. Hydrocarbons, methanol, higher alcohols, olefins, aldehydes and even carboxylic acids can be synthesized through Fischer-Tropsch reactions. So as I told you, in this process, means using Fischer-Tropsch reactions, we can convert the synthetic gas. The synthetic gas is a mixture of CO and H2. It's a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. It's also called syngas. So this mixture can be used for the preparation of hydrocarbons, which may be of short chain or long chains, olefins, alcohols. And as I told you earlier, it is a heterogeneous type of catalysis. Means it involves the surface reactions. Now how we can prepare this CO and H2 means syngas or synthetic gas. So either coal or natural gas, we can use either coal or natural gas means methane to convert it into a mixture of CO and H2 means syngas. This syngas is also known as water gas. And after this, we can convert this water gas into different organic compounds using suitable catalyst. The ratio of H2 and CO formed in synthesis gas depends upon the condition of its formation. Means under what conditions we are getting CO plus H2, that decides the ratio in which the H2 and CO are present. The initial ratio obtained is approximately 1:1, which is insufficiently high for a number of applications. Now how we can prepare synthetic gas from coal and natural gas? So first of all, there is a controlled combustion of petroleum means natural gas. The process is called steam reforming because in this case in the first case it is called steam reforming because we treat this methane and H2 under very high pressure and temperature conditions to form a mixture of CO and hydrogen. So when we are converting this methane through steam reforming, we get the synthetic gas in which the 3:1 is present for H2CO. The reaction is endothermic and the delta H for this reaction is 205 kilojoule per mole. This methane can be oxidized to this mixture of syngas means CO plus H2, but in this case it is exothermic type process and delta H is minus 35 kilojoule per mole. In this case the ratio of H2 ratio CO in syngas is 2:1. So as I told you earlier, it decides the composition of the syngas, means the method through which the syngas is produced. So what is coal gasification? We pass steam over red hot carbon or coke to get a mixture of CO and H2 means syngas. Now as I told you, Fischer-Tropsch reactions involve heterogeneous catalysis. So what are the various steps which are involved in heterogeneous catalysis? One of the major limitation of this heterogeneous catalysis is the very low product selectivity. On the surface of catalyst, this synthesis gas means CO plus H2 is converted into gasoline, diesel oil and waxes. But these catalytic species are very important. This composition of 50% gasoline, 25% diesel oil and 25% waxes is formed when we use cobalt carbonyls as catalyst in the presence of thorium oxide and magnesium oxide, which are supported over silica gel. A high temperature of 170 to 200 degrees centigrade is required and pressure of 1 bar is necessary for such reactions or conversions. If we use the composition of 3.5 for CO and 1 for H2 in the presence of iron oxides, which may be Fe2O3 and even Fe3 O4 at 320 to 340 degrees centigrade and 25 bar pressure, the composition of gasoline is very high as compared to the above mentioned reaction. In this case, we get 70% of gasoline. Many metal carbonyls such as rhodium 12 CO36, or which can be written as rhodium 12 CO34 2 negative, it can be represented in this form also. Fe5CCO5, ruthenium 6C CO17, Fe6C CO17 are very important Fischer-Tropsch heterogeneous catalysts. There are some examples of homogeneous catalysis for Fischer-Tropsch products also. The main advantage is that such reactions are somewhat more selective and are responsible for the production of short chain olefins and glycols. So if we use the catalyst rhodium 12 CO34 2 negative at 250 degrees centigrade temperature and 3000 bar pressure, we will get the product ethylene glycol from syngas, in which the composition is 1:1.5 for CO and H2. But if we decrease the pressure from 3000 bar, no ethylene glycol is formed. Rather than we get methanol as one of the main product. This homogeneously catalyzed reactions has not yet been implemented because there are some limitation, and the main limitation that it requires again very drastic conditions. For heavy industrial demand for glycol, because glycol is used as antifreeze, building block for many polyesters like terylene, glyptol, etc., high pressure is favored, because as I told you earlier, ethylene glycol is formed when a pressure is very high, means approximately 3000 bar. So because this ethylene glycol is of very important industrial applications, we need very high pressure to synthesize this one. That's why the point is mentioned is that for heavy industrial demand for glycol, we prefer high pressure. Now, what are the various types of steps which are involved in heterogeneous catalysis? As I told you earlier, it is a heterogeneous type of mechanism. So the converting a mixture of H2 and CO into aliphatic products is a multi-step reaction with several intermediate compounds. The growth of the hydrocarbon chains may be visualized as involving a repeated sequence of hydrogen atoms added to the carbon and oxygen, means across carbon oxygen double bond, which split and also result in the formation of carbon-carbon new bonds. So there is few steps which are involved. The first one is associative adsorption of CO. This is the surface of the catalyst. Okay. First of all, there is adsorption of this carbon monoxide on the surface of metal. Then there is a splitting of carbon oxygen bonds, and we will get carbon oxygen in this way, because this carbon monoxide may be adsorbed on the surface of metal in this way also. So after that we can get carbon and oxygen. So there is splitting of carbon and oxygen bond. The very first step involves association, means adsorption of the carbonyls on the surface of metal, and after that there is cleavage of carbon oxygen bond. The next step involves dissociative adsorption of H2. So first of all, H2 is adsorbed on the surface metal in this way, and after, because there is evolution of adsorption heat which cleaves this bond, so hydrogen atoms are now individually adsorbed over the surface of solid metallic catalyst. Then there is transfer of hydrogen atoms to oxygen to yield water. Now we have the surface of catalyst where we have different types of moieties attached. Now hydrogen atoms can combine with oxygen to form water, or as soon as the water is formed over the surface of a catalyst, this water is dissolved from here, means removed from the surface, and this will disclose the surface, will expose the surface for further adsorption reactions. There is transfer of hydrogen atoms to carbon also. So So this may result in the formation of CH2 on the surface. Another hydrogen transfer can form methyl groups associated to the surface of the metal. Again one more methyl, and there is combination of these methyl substance to form ethane over the surface of metal. Then this ethane is also removed from the surface of metal. So there are variety of products which are formed over the surface of metallic or metal carbonyl catalyst. Then the conversion of CO to alkanes involved. So you can now see here that during whole of this, what we used only CO and H2. And what are the different products which we are getting over the surface of the metal? They may be water, it may be alkanes. So we can have the conversion of CO to alkanes involving hydrogenation of CO. So there is addition of hydrogen to carbon monoxide. The hydrogenolysis means cleavage of hydrogen. So in this way, as I told you earlier, in this way this hydrogen is cleaved over the surface of the metal. So there is cleavage of hydrogen, which is referred to as hydrogenolysis. The formation of carbon-carbon bonds, as I told you, methyl groups can combine to form ethane over the surface of catalyst. So these are variety of reactions occurring at the surface of the catalyst. Such reactions are assumed to proceed by initial formation of surface bounded metal carbonyls. Means there was the very first step which involved the association or adsorption of a carbonyl over the surface of metal. Hence very initial step involves the formation of metal carbonyls. Now what is the catalytic mechanism? This can be represented in this way. This is the surface of metal. This is representing as this is being represented as metal, and first of all CO adsorbs on the surface of metal to give metal CO. Then hydrogen comes. This hydrogen reacts to form metal hydride complexes in this way. After that there is a transfer of this hydrogen to metal carbonyls to form metal formyl complexes. So this is eta 1 formyl complex which is formed over the surface of metal. Now this formyl complex can further react with H2 to give M, H, H, one more H, and then C double bond O, H. So if we remove this group, we will get formaldehyde. So this is formaldehyde. We can also add hydrogen to remove this oxygen as water to form metal methyl complexes, and if there are more methyl groups attached to metal, then there is formation of ethane over the surface of metal. So these metal methyl complexes can further undergo insertion of CO to form acetyl complexes, and these acetyl complexes, if adsorption of hydrogen on the surface of metal, we can have MH, MH, C double bond O, CS3. Then if there is loss of this group, we will get acetaldehyde as one of the products. So variety of organic compounds can be formed over the surface of catalyst. Thank you.